Welcome to RoxTalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. My name is Roxanne Wilson, and I'm so glad to be here with you in this interesting time. I'm not one, I don't like controversy. I'm someone who most would say I'm a people pleaser, believe it or not. But it doesn't mean I shy away. I mean, my debate roots, uh, state champion debater, my roots of being a lawyer are not gone. They're just tempered. And so today we're going to get a little deep, we're going to go down to those roots because we need to. Because as you know, social media has started misbehaving and it's going to continue. And you need to know what that means for your business. How do you conduct your business that is run by, powered by, marketed by social media in a world where people just can get nasty? I hate that word, but it's a word. So we're going to dive in. We'll be right back. Are you on the RoxTalks podcast list? Why would you want to be on the list? You ask because you get updates and alerts when a new podcast comes out, but also you get a database. So anything that was ever mentioned on the podcast, you can access quickly and easily. It's all available by just going to roxtalkspodcast.com and signing up to be on the list. So a funny thing happened in the last month. Happy, by the way, September to you. It's September by the time you're listening to this. It's August when this is being recorded. And by the time you've listened to it, we have survived as a country through another round of conventions. Am I talking politics, Roxanne? You're not going there, are you? I am, but adjacent, not directly. But we've survived it. But to me, as I was going through the last 2 weeks and watching, and yes, I watched every single day of every single convention day. Yes, I did. I thought to myself, we're about to go here again. Oh, here we come. Here it comes. What comes, you ask? Well, if you recall, about 7 years ago, just kidding, almost 4 years ago, we lost our manners as a country. We stopped being nice and polite to each other, and we started getting ridiculous on social media, specifically on Facebook. I mean, Twitter, yeah, it can be snark, but on Facebook, we thought we were there with our friends from all the different generations of our lives and stages of our lives. And next thing we knew, we were fighting with them. We were upset. People were going, I mean, it was a lot. And I'd like to say that we have come a long way, baby, and we're going to behave this next time around. But there is nothing that would make me think. There's no evidence from anyone in the United States of America that makes me think that we are going to behave this time around. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your business? And why am I talking about it right now at the top of the September? It's not even fall yet. Because my friends, buckle up. You need to get ready, because if you're not ready, you could get cut at the knees or whatever they call it and lose your vision, lose your focus, and lose your ability to grow your business on social media. And I, for one, don't want to see that happen. 2020 has already been quite an interesting tale. Let's get prepared for this next stage. So why do I say that? Well, because, I mean, again, proof positive, doesn't take long to look at your social media. Everyone listening, you could look somewhere on your Facebook and find something or someone who's disappointed you by what they've said or the way they've treated others and the way they're saying it. Trust me, I've been through it. I've been going through it. It's an issue. And sometimes you don't even know when you're going to step in it. So let's talk about it a little bit. Now, first and foremost, I want you to start by being prepared. Be prepared. And be prepared in the sense that you're ready and you know that it's probably going to happen. You're probably going to inadvertently, as one of my Social Stories members mentioned, like you might interact with some rattlesnakes. I actually interacted with some rattlesnakes a few days ago, and I didn't even realize it was happening. Didn't see it for 2 days later. Then when I saw it, I got hurt. It hurt my feelings. I'm a sensitive person. Um, and I decided to take control of the situation. So I start by saying to you, it can happen where you don't even know what's going to happen. It just happens. So you're like, okay, Roxanne. So I want you to realize this. In this day and age, you're likely to upset someone without even realizing. Now, I'm not talking about being tone deaf. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with good intentions, with pure intentions. And really, if someone looked at it, something that is not controversial in any way, you could just step in it. Let me give you an example. So I was at a conference, a virtual conference, a couple weeks ago. Supposed to be in Toronto, but obviously not traveling right now and not even allowed to fly to Toronto right now. I'm on the do not fly list as all Americans are, or at least at the time of recording this. We can't go to Canada. So conference for everyone was virtual, and it was a 3-day conference, microphone on, have your camera on, be focused. And we had a lunch break. And so I decided I was going to head outside and take a walk. Now, my dog Baylor has been, she's been quite ill this last month. It's been tough. And so I have not, if I can be by her side at all times, that's where I'm going to be. She's coming over with me. So I decided to go for a walk. She was feeling a little better. I felt good about taking her for a walk, y'all. She's small. She sits in my bra when she walks. That's a walk for her. So I go to take a walk and I put on something that's a lot like this. And if you're not watching, you're watching, you see what I just put on. If you're not watching, I just put on a mask. Why? Because I've chosen to put on a mask when I go outside. And I thought I would do an Instagram story really fast and just talk about how I'm at a convention, had a break, taking a walk. What are you doing? Okay. Now I thought, and most people commented and mentioned like cute little Baylor in my bra. Okay. That's what I think. And that makes sense. People would see because she's so adorable. That's what you see. Now, remember, I'm at a convention. So I'm finished with my walk. I go upstairs, get back into the convention. And it's not for another day. That was like day 2. It's not for 2 more days that I see that someone has decided to send me a message really berating me. Now I will give this person the benefit of the doubt and say, maybe they weren't berating me, but when things are written and they're in capital letters, it feels berating. So the way I read it was do you have to wear a mask alone and outside? That enough got much out of my hide. Then we went on to say, or are you just pandering to your audience? That set me like hair on fire. I was hot. I was mad. I was like offended. Like, how dare they say that about me? I mean, y'all know I am not perfect. And I put my imperfections out there for people to see. And yes, I guess to judge as well too on social media. Why? Because I'm real. So for someone to say, are you pandering to your audience because I wore a mask? Okay. And to attack my decision to wear a mask. Y'all, the fact that a mask is an issue is like mind-blowing, but whatever. Okay. I was not okay with it. And I was like, Roxanne, just leave this alone. You can either ignore it or you can answer it tomorrow. I'm like, no, you're not. I should not have to put my head to rest on the pillow with someone else's issues that I can honestly say I didn't step in any way. Like, I didn't decide to sit there and talk about politics and who I was voting for or wasn't voting for, this or that or that. I didn't do. I was talking about a walk at my convention. And so I wrote back. And I won't go into the whole message that I wrote back, but I made it very clear that last time I checked, we were in something called a pandemic. And if you listen to the podcast, my cousin passed away from COVID earlier this year. And I mentioned that, but I started by saying, I don't have to justify my decision to wear a mask to anyone. However, henceforth, therefore too, my cousin passed away from COVID. And if me If my choice to wear a mask can stop someone else from perhaps getting sick, I'm okay with that. That's okay. I can do it. Man, I was at Equinox dancing in a mask because they required that when the gyms were open, we had to wear a mask to work out. And I danced in a mask. It was required and I was fine with it. So yeah, I can walk around my neighborhood in a mask. So, and then I followed up with and I do not pander to my audience. I'm my real imperfect self. And then called it a day. Now, what I did right there is I took back control of the matter, because here's the thing. People are not nice lately. They're not. And if you let that sit with you, if I'd let that sit with me and I didn't say anything back in that situation, I knew that was going to rest on my heart and I couldn't deal with it. Now, there are times where it's like turn the other cheek and don't say anything, but I had something to say and I said it. And you know what else I did? I moved that person over to a folder where I shall never see their messages again. I didn't block them. I knew that I could have, but I did that because I chose to make sure that I didn't get any more negativity that I didn't want to be around. Okay, so let's go through that and why I talked to you about that with this. First and foremost, like I said before, you have to be prepared for the fact that you may step into it and you may not realize. Y'all, I didn't know. I don't have kids. I didn't realize that back to school was an issue. Now I know that and I didn't step in it until my friends were commiserating with me about it. I'm like, that's a thing? Now, this is a few months ago, but bear with me. I didn't know that. There are going to be things that you're not going to know that have become hot button issues that you're going to be like, wait, what? Mars is an issue? Wait, I can't talk about Mars? What the heck? I love that candy bar. Just kidding. So when that happens, when it's a unique and innocent thing, and you've just hot buttoned someone who's being ridiculous, you need to remove that negativity from you. If you need to say your piece, say your piece. Make sure that you cannot, if you've got to block people, mute them, whatever, do what you need to do, and then get back to being you. Because what I want you to be doing is this. I want you to be spreading your superpower. I want you to be spreading goodwill. I want you to be spreading positivity. Now, that's what I want from you. Maybe if that's not your brand, then don't do that. But I think if you're listening to this podcast and you've been a listener, that is your brand. And we need that more than anything out there right now. We can get the negativity. We can find that. That's really easy. Man, we are humans. We're really good at critiquing things. It is easy to critique. It is not easy, especially in an environment like this one, to be positive and share that positivity. But man, don't you think we need it? So again, if that happens, if you step in it, ask yourself, what was the mission of what I was posting? Was I putting good out there? If I was, then you shrug that off. You keep moving. You don't stop. And you remove the negativity. Now, there are some things that you should stay away from, in my opinion, just my opinion, and I'm going to go through those. And some things I think you don't get in there, because what I don't want you to do is say, well, Roxanne, I feel like I can't post at all, so I'm not going to post anything because I'm afraid. Yeah, that's when your business is stagnant. We love social media. It is free. And it's free marketing for our business. But if you're not out there on it, you're not using that great skill. You're not using that great asset that you have there, that tool, I should say. So what should you avoid? Let's talk about what you avoid first. I might be Captain Obvious, but avoid politics. Just avoid it. Now, I said this. Oh, I remember back in my day, I was doing network marketing. It was 4 years ago. People were being ridiculous. And if you can hear me, you say, yes, you were being ridiculous. And I got onto a large team page I was on and said, y'all, let me tell you a thing or two. And I told them, I stand by it, say it to their face right now. And I pissed people off. What I said was this was my message. Okay. I said, first of all, before you get butt hurt, and use those words, but I'm paraphrasing now, one way or the other, I want you to know who I am. I am a child of immigrants, American, who, I say American, what else did I say? Uh, Contestant on The Apprentice, got fired by our president, Donald Trump, on TV, and I'm also Black. And guess what I don't do? I don't talk about politics on my social media. Why? Because while everyone feels like, think about it, I just list off a few things, go further, went to Baylor, largest Baptist school in the world. I just listed off a bunch of things where people could say, "Oh, she's on my side. Oh, great, great. She's this, she's this, she's this. She must be on my side." And it could be because back in the day, I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. It was my dream. And that was my dream. I wanted to be, Sandra O'Connor was my idol. I wanted to be the first Black female Supreme Court justice. And I learned back then that a Supreme Court justice should be nonpartisan. And so then at that point, I'm like, I'm not talking about politics because I need to be impartial. And that has stuck with me, even though I probably won't be a Supreme Court justice first or second or otherwise. So I don't talk about politics, which means that I have friends who believe everything, and they feel like they can talk to me. And my point about posting this, and I piss people off, and to this day, I don't know why, except maybe people don't like to hear good sense about it, is listen, half of the country agrees with you, and half of the country does not agree with you. And we know that this is an issue that divides families and relations. So why, if you are trying to have a business and use social media as your platform for your business, are you going to get into a sticky wicket? Now, here's the thing, and I know things have changed. I said this 4 years ago. Things have changed in the sense of there are certain things that you're like, Roxanne, that's a mountain I'm going to die on, I'm going to talk about, and I want you to. I'm not saying don't. I mean, I paused RoxTalks for a whole episode and had a conversation about race. So yes, there's mountains that I'm dying on too. I'm there with you. But if it's not a mountain that you are going to die on, if it's not something that you would like life, liberty, and pursuit over, then it is not worth talking about on social media. The people you think agree with you, they don't all agree with you. And the people who don't agree with you, some of them do. And you will upset someone. So if you're going to do it, be ready for it. But don't be surprised if you decide to get all political and then you piss people off. Don't be surprised. And we see a lot of it this go around. I mean, I've seen people that I respected that are like have big teams get out there and say hateful things that make their team embarrassed, half their team embarrassed to be part of that team, and the other half like, yes, thank you. And it just made me cry. It didn't just make me cry. It made me like, it debilitated me for days because I'm an empathetic person. That stuff hurts. I don't want to see that for you. So if it's an issue that is not a mountain you're going to die on, you do not need to pick social media to talk about it. I'm not saying don't talk about issues. I'm not saying don't talk about what you believe in, but is Facebook really the best place? I mean, I gave you the example of that person who sent me that message, and it hurt my feelings. Now, that person did not speak it. I read it a certain way, and I took the caps to mean certain things. For all I know, that person was being like jovial and wonderful, but I didn't read it that way, and I didn't get the chance to read it that way because that person sent it via message, text. Facebook is one-dimensional, and that one-dimensional speak, while it may come across, my mom used to say, she still says, Roxanne, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You do not get an opportunity to get the how when you post it on social media. The how is lost. And so it goes through the filter of whoever is the context of whoever is reading it. And maybe they had a bad day, or maybe someone just said something, or maybe you triggered them. And next thing you know, friends are enemies. People are unfollowing people, each other, and blocking them and all those things. And is it worth it? If it's not, then don't go there. Don't go there. And maybe maybe I pissed you off too. And let me know. You can email me, Roxanne@RoxanneWilson.com. I'll take it. Give it to me. Okay. So politics is something that if you're going to tread, know you're treading in it. Here's the thing. If you're posting about something and you do not want political commentary on it, you have every right to say, no debate on this post. I do it all the time. No debate on this post, people. This is not one for I'm not going there. You know, I don't do that. Here's an observation, and here it is. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to stop it. No, but it does let people know that's not where you're going with this. Okay. So number one is you may step in it, what you do to balance it if you do step in it. Number two, things to stay away from. The first thing, A, being politics. The second one is politics. The third one is politics. Listen, religion is fine. You know religion all you want now, but politics? And apparently masks can get you in trouble, and perhaps schools. Let's talk about school because that's a sticky wicket. So can I talk about it? Can I talk about it? There's drama. There's things going on. Here's what I want you to know. When it's something you're not sure if you can talk about, you're like, is it okay for me to talk about a mask? I'm happy to say, I just want to say that I posted a picture recently as well at the Save by the Max, the Save by the Bell pop-up. They had a socially distanced pop-up, and we had our masks on, and no one has given me a hard time yet, at least about that. So I get our mask on. No one's like, ah. Anyway, if you are concerned that what you're going to talk about could get people all a little wound up, what I want you to do is this. Talk about it. And this goes to the do's. So the don'ts are don't politics, and more politics. That was the don't. Some things are not politics technically, but they're politics adjacent. And you're like, I didn't mean to get there. That's not where I wanted to be. Okay. So let's talk about what you can talk about. Nostalgia, it works really well. Talk about things that make you nostalgic, make others nostalgic. 2020 has been a doozy. And so we are looking for those fun times, those times where we remember them being so wonderful. Things like, let me give you some examples of posts that I've done recently that are nostalgic, that go over like gangbusters. For example, the Saved by the Bell message I just commented on, that one, gangbusters. Another one, Babysitters Club. The Babysitters Club show came on Netflix, and they brought a new rendition of it. That uber popular. Why? Because my generation, my market, we remember that. We're all over that. Another one, Supermarket Sweep, came to Netflix. Amazing. They're bringing back Supermarket Sweep, a brand new one. I'm going to talk about that as well too, because if you remember, think about all you could do, fun you could have on Supermarket Sweep. You're all for it. That's like amazing, right? Those are things, nostalgic things. If there's a reunion, like maybe you're a One Direction fan, it's like the One Direction reunion was awesome. Nostalgia is something that brings people together, and there's not a lot of conflict. Like I remember, and I love the days when the big issue, you want to get like the big issue was NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys. And as far as I'm concerned, it's still and always will be NSYNC. Love you, JC. So things that can bring people back to nostalgia are a good place to be. Another thing that you can definitely talk about is you can create debate over things that are not that life or death. You remember when Molly Mahoney was on the podcast a few weeks ago, a few months ago, we talked about, and she loves talking about the post that you can all do. If you haven't done it yet, do it, where it's Brussels sprouts, yes or no. See, because like I said before, we love to give our opinions. So you literally put up a post, Brussels sprouts, yes or no, and everyone is going to give you their opinion. They're going to keep giving weeks later, still their opinion. But you know what happened? People didn't like get mad or butthurt. It's like Brussels sprouts. You either like them or you don't. Yes, we feel very opinionated about it, but we're not going to dislike you if you if you post it. It's a safe place to be, to cause that engagement, to talk about something else, right? Get people going. Oh, here's a great recipe. Ooh, I've never tried that way. Okay, maybe I'll try Brussels sprouts. Finally, do you remember this episode of this show where they're talking about Brussels sprouts? Go there. Okay, that's a good spot or a place like that. Another great thing to post about, and this is the big one. This is the big one. And this is the one that, in my opinion, crosses the boundary when you're not sure. Like, you're like, golly, all that's going on in my life is back to school, but I'm afraid to talk about school because I might get people upset. Don't know what to do. Here's how you talk about it, because you should be able to talk about things that are going on in your life. Here's how you talk about it. You talk about it from your personal experience without creating or putting opinion in it. If you know, it's like, oh, it could be, what's your personal experience with it? What is your personal, tell us your story. If you're telling me your story, I can't, without preaching, without giving me your opinion, I can listen to that. And it's very, very interesting. And it's not like, oh, she must feel this way about it. She must feel that way about it. I have clients who are teachers in social service community. They're teachers and they're going through this, like, teaching virtually, remotely. Kids are remote. They have to be on campus, all these different ways. Talking about that and how hard it is to figure that all out, and that journey, that's something that does not create debate or riot. It creates empathy. It lets people in on what's going on. And it's something that is going on in their lives. So it's a real world and they can talk about it. They're not like, I got to figure out something to talk about. So if it's something that you're like, I don't know if I can talk about this, if you can talk about it from your personal experience, agnostically, that's fine. And it's still agnostic to say this is hard. When you start saying, I believe we should do this and that, that's when it gets, but just agnostically talk about it. The other thing I want you to know is when there is a comment that is going south, you have a couple of choices. When it's going a little south, just ignore it. If it's going way south, hide it. If it's offensive and you need to block it, block it. But sometimes when you ignore, and you can reward good behavior. I do it all the time. If it's a post where things are like, I will like or love all the ones that follow what I want, which is no drama. And if it's a dramatic one, I just don't respond to it. You don't get a love, you don't get life, you don't get anything from me, no response. You'll be surprised. That goes a long way and shows people naturally to stay off of the negativity and stay on the positivity. Now, these are not foolproof. You might go, Roxanne, I tried to talk about Brussels sprouts and somebody told me that it was just like this candidate for this race. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I cannot give you the 100% foolproof, but these tools are going to help you to navigate it. What I don't want you to do is to stop going. Don't stop moving. Keep on moving. Don't stop. Because you stopping promoting what you need to be promoting because of someone else's negativity is you allowing them to steal your purpose, to steal your ability to make money. Hello. And to put your superpower, your positivity out there. Now, a couple things I do want to add to that. When you're doing that, when you're posting and you're doing these things, please, like I said, positivity is the way to go, obviously. But here's what I find. When people are so afraid they don't know what to post, then they just post about your business. If you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you know one of the worst things you can do on social media is be that flat Stanley. If you're only posting about your business, people don't want to hear it. They're not interested. Then that's all you're about. It's like, oh, no, I'm going to scroll past her. You got to stop the scroll. And stopping the scroll is showing different aspects of you. So you want to make sure that you are talking about the Brussels sprouts, talking about your experience, maybe back to school shopping. Do you need a backpack this year? Whatever it may be that works for you. Just stay out of the places where it can get dark really fast and where you don't want it to go there. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there recently. Didn't want to get there, but I got there. And so I tell you my cautionary tale, not for you to stop posting, but for you to be prepared, for you to go, okay, it could happen. If it does, I know how to handle that. and I know how to keep posting, and I'm not going to stop because this is where I'm supposed to be. And by golly gee willikers, we need your sunshine. We need you to distract us with Brussels sprouts. We need to hear what's going on in your life. We need you. Yes, you specifically, you. Don't think that you're not important because you are important. So bring that positivity to this world, to your social media. This is a great time. Now, here's the positive thing about this. Because of 2020 and because of the second half of 2020, people are going to be online a lot. They're going to be online a lot. They're not going to like everything they see. Half the things they see, they're not going to like, but they're going to be on the line a lot. That is good for you. You need to be online a lot as well, too, because when you're talking about positivity, when you're talking about things that are not all about the hullabaloo, they're appreciating that. They're going to see it. So seize the day, stay relevant, and remember that at the end of the day, it's about your heart. It's about sharing your heart, sharing the love, and being positive through all of it. All right. We'll be right back with a little behind the scenes. So I want to let you into behind the curtain of what's been going on. If you listen to last week's episode, which was episode 90, we're almost on the 100 mark. Oh my goodness. You heard about network marketing match. I can get it. I promise I can. And so great. It's interesting. And if you're on my email list, you know a little bit about this, but I've always learned, must be from my parents, when you are on the right direction, the devil, whatever you want to call it, evil, things will come and try and like stop you and misdirect you and get you off your path. You can call it bumps in the road, whatever you want to call it, but that's what I call it. And so that happened. You're thinking, Roxanne, you just launched Network Marketing Match. How could that happen already? Well, guess I'm on to something really good because within literally a day of posting it, some people didn't like it very much. And there were some people who brought it to some legal attention. And that's fine. I'm totally fine with that because I am at a point in my life, 41 years old, where I've learned through ups and downs in life exactly that lesson, that when you're on the right path, people try and bring you down. And so as a result, we had to pivot the plan for Network Marketing Match. It is still alive and kicking. So if you're listening and you want it to go down, it's not going anywhere. It's actually growing and it's amazing. But the mode of offering it has changed. I am so thrilled and actually think this is even better. And it was something I was kind of thinking about, but I'm like, no, Roxanne. And now it is what it is. And I'm thrilled about it because it really is going to up the caliber of people who are on Network Marketing Match and will allow me to really like vouch even more for them. So that's actually a fantastic thing. So if you are on and you're like, I want to be part of Network Marketing Match, I'd like an opportunity. It is currently closed, but there will be opportunities later this month to have access to it. So stick around, keep watching, keep listening. If you're listening, if you're watching, and get ready because we will be doing a very special launch in a couple weeks, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Now, note this: it is you message me if you want more details, but just know that it is 100% compliant now, and so those who try to knock it down, not today. Not today. It's okay. This is part of it. Also, I want to say I have an opportunity. I was chosen to be in a very special mastermind all about memberships, and I'm super excited to be accepted. There's some things I need to do, get my ducks in a row to accept that membership, but I'm kind of like a little frozen. Masterminds been on my list for 2021, something I wanted to achieve, and now I'm part of one. And so I'm like, this is really happening, but it's so exciting to see really social stories, the podcast, all of it grow. And really, what I know to be true more and more every single day is that we are starting a movement in network marketing, a movement, call it a modern movement if you like, where network marketers can be the CEOs of their business, where they can make decisions and have informed decisions about how to grow their business on social media and be profitable and be able to stand in their confidence in their brand. And so I'm so excited about that. I thank you so much for being part of this community. If you're listening to the podcast, if you listen to 1 second of the podcast, you're part of the community. And it's so great to have you here. And of course, everyone in Social Stories, such a joy as well too. And so I thank you. And I'm excited to see where the rest of the year is going. And believe it or not, I was already in meetings for 2021 and what we have on the horizon for that. Yes. So it's a coming, and I'm so glad you're part of it. You guys rock the Casbah. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And I, for one, am so glad to be here with you. So thank you so much. I'm honored, and I will see you next week on RoxTalks. Bye.